Good afternoon, good evening, good. I don't think it's going to be morning in any African country, but just in case you're joining us from another part of the world, good morning and welcome to the Open Export Series edition for the month of August, which is under our Scaling Export program here at AFC. And today we'll be looking at cultural intelligence in exporting, navigating cross-cultural differences for success, and particularly curious about what this topic is all about. So I'm here to learn. I hope you're also here to learn. And I hope you have your notepad, your pen, pencil, writing pad, jotter, literally anything you can use to take out. Note down key takeaways, learnings, and action points from today's session. So, but before we start fully, I'm going to run us through the agenda. We're going to start with welcomes, introductions, and I have a colleague of mine come on board to tell us about AFC and the amazing programs we have here at AFC. Then we'll move to the meat of today's session, which is a speaker presentation, and also you would have an opportunity for the Q&A. Do well to, as you're taking down your key takeaways, action points, your learnings from today's session, ensure you also jot down questions. You can go ahead to drop them in the chat box during the session, and we'll also give a couple of persons opportunities to ask their question here directly on the call. Would move on to taking group pictures. I particularly love that part of the session every time. It never gets tiring. And then we'd go to connecting with AFC. And we get that a couple of persons are joining us for the first time, and we have repeat attendees, but would do a quick membership drive and would call the session to an end. So we would love to meet you, and I would start first. So my name is Indegiju Anna Mambula, and I work here as the communications officer at African Food Chain Makers here in Abuja, Nigeria. I don't have an agribusiness, but let's say AS is my agribusiness. And so use this to format to introduce yourself, your name, your country, your agribusiness, because this is going to be an opportunity for you to also connect with like-minded entrepreneurs like you. You can never tell who you would meet that is also in the same region or vicinity as you are. So don't waste this opportunity. Network, drop what you do. Oh, my name is Rachel Damina. I'm from Ethiopia. I am into this, and that. Sell yourself with that one-liner pitch about your business. And while we are also doing that, we'd love to you to describe the favorite emoji that depicts how you are feeling right now. So, how are you feeling? Are you excited about today's session? Are you expectant? For me, I think you can see from my face, I'm glowing at the moment. I'm smiling. I'm happy. I'm excited about this session. So let's have you drop the emoji right now that depicts how you are. I can already see Agada Messi says she is from Abuja, Nigeria, and she's into aquaculture production and processing. Amazing to have you on the call today. I'm seeing Ken Gusalo. He's from Malawi and works with NutriCare company. I think it would also be good to add your designation maybe in the organization also. And he says they are into food and production. Amazing to have you with us today, Ken. So let's keep the introduction coming. Let's keep introducing ourselves while we have more persons join us on today's session. So moving on, I would love to hand over the virtual mic, podium, stage, all of them are the same, to my colleague, Gloria Praise Bassi, who is the program officer here at AFC and is working under the Scaling Export program, to tell you more about what AFC is about and the amazing programs and opportunities where you can benefit from us. Hi, Gloria Praise. Over to you, please.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's Open Export series. So for those of us that has been attending and attentive to our sessions, you agree with me that it has been an insightful and always a knowledge worth sharing period for everyone. Thank you once again, Anna. My name is Gloria Praise Bassi, and I work as a program officer at African Food Changemakers. So just a brief about African Food Changemakers and the programs we run over here. African Food Changemakers is a non-for-profit organization, and here we believe that small and medium-sized enterprises are actually the lifeblood of the food ecosystem in Africa. These enterprises are driven by visionary, dynamic, innovative entrepreneurs who operate as primary producers, innovators, consultants, chefs, cook, name them. We call all of these people change makers because we believe that they are changing the narratives about African food system. However, these innovators, these chefs, these change makers, as we call them, are being faced by the devastating impact of climate change, local and global risks and shocks. So we support these entrepreneurs in different ways in forms of funding opportunities, training capacity, and most importantly, a community of support, because we know that they need all this support to thrive as an African entrepreneur. So the programs we run at African Food Changemakers, we do this through, our support goes through different aspects based on our mission and our vision to help agri-SMEs scale their business. So we have different programs. Our first program is the climate-related program, which we called BRACE. BRACE is an acronym for Building Resilience Against Climate Change and Environmental Shocks. It's actually a 6-week capacity development program, and the essence of this program is to help agri-SMEs understand how their businesses are being impacted by climate change. And we don't just stop there, we go a bit further to help them develop different climate smart practices that they can adopt into their business to make their business able to withstand climate shocks. So this program runs through different cohorts. So in a year, we have 3 cohorts. In a year, we have different batches. The first, the third, we are currently on the 3rd batch, which application closed last week. And we've onboarded the participants of this program into the 6 weeks learning program, after which they will undergo another section of the program, which is called the study visit, where they go to different facilities in Africa to learn about climate smart practices that they can use in their businesses. So keep an eye open on our website. Keep your eyes and your ears open so that when you hear information about when the next application will be up, we will let you know and you'll be well informed. Then we also have another program called the Leading African Women in Food Fellowship. We call it LAF for short. We noticed a gap in the food system, that when it comes to policy speaking, when it comes to developing policies as regards agriculture, the gender we find on the stage are the men. But you agree with me also that women are the ones doing the real work. So when you see a very big farm, you don't expect that a woman will own it, right? So the essence of LAF is to help celebrate the work that women are doing in the agri space, but they are not being recognized, because we notice that women are doing exceptionally well, but they are not being recognized. So this is a 6-month program where they go through a series of training, after which they go through mentorship session, and after which a closing session, usually in conjunction with the African food system, currently we hold in Senegal.
Pour les former, donc, et leur donner des opportunités.
Okay. Also, we have our 3rd program called the Scaling Exports Program.
Nous avons un troisième programme qui,
and the essence of the Scaling Exports Program is to help build the capacity of agri-SMEs who want to go into exports. For those agri-SMEs who want their products to go beyond the shores of Nigeria, we build their capacity by
leurs produits à se familiariser avec l'exportation.
Inviting experts from different sectors to come and speak to entrepreneurs on information related to their export activities, what they need to know when going into export, just like we are here today. So the Scaling Export program has closed, but the Open Export Series program is an initiative of the Scaling Exports program, and that is what we are all here to listen to gain knowledge from industry experts who will be dropping different insights about what you are supposed to know as pertain export. So just like my colleague Anna said, I will advise that you pick your pen, your biro, and jot down, as our speaker will be dropping a lot of knowledge and insights relating to export. And don't worry, you also have the opportunity to ask him questions as pertaining anything bothering your mind, anything you want to know as regards export. Then we also have another initiative called the Changing Global Narrative Initiative. Here we, through podcasts, documentaries, we partner with different content curators to talk about our rich heritage as African. When you talk about chocolates, nobody remembers that the main product of chocolate is made from Africa. People just taste it and they were like, oh, thank you, so country for this chocolate. Nobody acknowledges Africa. They always see Africa as a hungry child. So through our podcast, through our documentaries, our aim is to ensure that we change that perception, we change that narrative that Africa is no longer a hungry child, but can also feed itself and feed the world at large. Thank you very much. Over to you, Anna.
Thank you so much, Gloria Praise. So you would see we have a lot that we do here at African Food Chainmaker. So always be on the lookout on how you can maximize what we do. And additionally, you can go to our website, www.afchub.org, so as you can learn more about each of the individual programs and initiatives we do. So now we're going to moving on to, we want to hear from you. What is your export stories? I always, this particular session of Open Export Series is always an opportunity to like hear from your end. Also learn, because we also use it as a learning point to like, okay, these are your challenges and we see how we can tackle them. So what is your export story? Have you started exporting? If yes, what has been the experience like? Because we come here and we see people who have started exporting, but this is the issue, and we find some of our sessions addresses those issues, and they go and they will watch the videos. Why sometimes you even find some of the participants here who have overcome those challenges, they now prefer solutions to you, while they are also on a lookout on their own challenges. And there's others who have not started exporting, and then we also get to learn about what is hindering them and how best and ways they can tackle it. So what is your export stories? I think today we don't have so much time. I'll just take 2 persons. You can drop it in the chat box, or you can use the raise hand feature. What is your export story like? Have you started exporting? Have you, what challenges are you currently facing as it relates to the export market? Like, I'll just take the first 2 persons that would be using the raise hand emoji or would want to speak to share we can really get in. I think more persons would actually want to just drop them in the chat box. I can see Ikechukwu is saying he has issues with market access. The rest are introduction. While we are getting more persons to type, I can see we have Amaka joining us. She's the CEO of Perfect Food. Nice to have you today. I'm seeing Salamatu from Ghana. Amazing. So what has been your challenges? Aside from, I see Rabi says not started yet, no market access yet. Okay, so that's the second person having issues with market access. I can see getting attention of African stores. I think it's also similar to market access. So let's have more persons. And then chasing for payment after supply. So it means, Femi, you must have exported for you to be chasing for your payment. And about the market access, I believe there is a previous session from the Open Export Series for this year, and I think last year and this year addresses. We have a session that addresses market access. I think it will really go a long way if I have my colleagues here on the call just pick out the link to that particular training. It was a detailed one, and drop it for you. I believe you would get like a whole lot of insight from it. So I think I've gotten enough responses. I see today we have issues with market access. I'll just move straight to our session for today. Our trainer for today is Mr. Daniel Jimena. He is the MD, CEO, and principal consultant of Vitex Agro Limited. Mr. Daniel is a prominent figure in the agricultural sector, serving as the managing director and CEO of Vitex Agro Limited in Nigeria, Agro Experts International in Kenya and Tanzania, and is holding directorships in several other companies. He holds a degree in agriculture from the University of Ilorin and further qualifications from Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University and MBA from the Federal University of Technology, Yola, and the Federal University of Technology, and also a General Management Program certification from Harvard Business School, General Management Program certification from Harvard Business School, USA again. He began his career as an agricultural officer and progressed to the role of farm manager at the Brima Agri Borno State, Agri Extension Services Manager of AFCOT. The list just goes on, and since then he has become a global player in agricultural sector, particularly in the cashew kernel market in USA, Canada, South America, Europe, and seed market in Japan, and represented in Nigerian stores by its popularly known brand Dodan Food, which produces peanut butter, cashew butter, and roasted nuts. He's a member of several national and international bodies and associations, including the International Nuts and Dried Fruit Council and the Vietnam Cashew Association. He has been invited to speak as a key speaker in various global conferences and has received award for his contributions to agriculture. Mr. Jimena has attended various courses and has been recognized for his contribution to agriculture, received awards such as the Rotary Club Merit Award and the Sir Ahmadu Bello Sardauna Platinum Distinguished Leadership Award. He's also appointed as the UN Smart Ambassador on Sustainable Development Goals. His spiritual journey began during his National Youth Service Corps, NYC. For those of us here in Nigeria, we should be familiar with that program, where he was converted under Kano Christians Corpus Fellowship, and he has joined the Deeper Life Bible Church in Borno State and actively engaged in church activities such as started as a search the scripture teacher and later becoming a Hausa language translator, interpreter. Is currently the president of the Young Professional Forums in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, Nigeria. With a resounding virtual clap, I would love us to warmly welcome Mr. Daniel Jimena to the virtual podium. Thank you very much. I can see everybody giving the virtual claps. Thank you, thank you. Let's welcome him to the virtual podium as he dishes out from his wealth of wisdom. As you can see, he's packed. So don't forget to take out your notepad, ask all the questions you can ask, and learn as much as you can. As I would always say, milk this opportunity. It's amazing to have you on the call with us today, Mr. Jimena. We look forward to learning from you. Over to you, sir.
Thanks, and welcome every one of us. This is afternoon in Nigeria. You're welcome to this platform, and it's a very rare privilege having the opportunity to talk to us. And I'm delighted to be here. We're talking about cultural intelligence in exporting and how do we navigate cultural differences for success. So this is our topic this afternoon. Many of us know about cultural differences as we move from one country to another, from one region to another. And then we want to see how this impacts on our export businesses, and then how and what best we can do to make sure that we overcome those challenges. To start with the definition of cultural differences, I mean cultural intelligence. It is ability to understand and appreciate, to interact effectively with people from diverse cultures diverse cultural backgrounds. That is simply cultural intelligence, talking about the ability to interact with people from diverse cultures. Why is it essential? It helps us to, navigate difficult landscapes in our businesses as we move from one geographical zone, from one country to another. And it helps us to solve complex cultural issues. And that is why it is important if you want to actually move on from, from your country, from where you are to a different country. Cultures are different. The benefits, when we know about the culture, we will study about cultures and we're able to do a lot and overcome that. Number one, it will enhance our global collaboration among team players, and then it will involve cultural communication and negotiation. Negotiation abilities and negotiation styles differ from culture to culture, from society to society. And so when we know the differences and we're able to harness them for our business, it increases our market understanding, and then it gives customer satisfaction wherever we go. It gives us a stronger relationship, and international partners are more united and inclined to us. And then it helps us to overcome some complex global business environments that other people who do not know about cultural intelligence are not able to get into. So that is why we need to pay attention as we look at this topic. Talking about cultural differences, there are people who have studied cultures, and they propounded theories and that define ways by which people differ from culture to culture. And so we're talking about the first person here. There are so many other people, but we're just taking two people, Hofstede's cultural dimension theory. This theory tells us that it gives us the reasons, the criteria, the dimensions. How do we measure cultural differences in people? What are the things that define cultural differences as you move from country to country? And he gave us 6 parameters that influence cultural differences. I'm going to just take a few of them. We're going to give the slides so you can study it, and then you can go online and know more about it. Number one, he talks about power distance. There are cultures that there is diversity. I mean, the difference between the high and the low is so wide. So those kind of differences where there are unequal power in a society, societies where the power is not equal, those cultures have different and unique ways of doing things. And it's different from cultures where you have almost uniform power. People are defined, they are uniform in their power. They have equal rights and equal authority. Such countries, so that the behavior of the people are different. So when you are getting into a business, into such countries, you have to know the power distance index of that country. Is it the country where you have the winner takes all? Is it the country where everybody has equal rights? Those kind of things, those kind of differences, define the kind of lifestyle of these people. And then there's one of uncertainty avoidance index. We're just taking a few of them. Uncertainty avoidance index. There are countries and cultures where people try as much as possible to avoid uncertainties in their businesses. As they are moving on in businesses, they want to, as much as possible, avoid unforeseen circumstances. That is, people who are very, very careful. I will not want to mention countries, but there are countries where I personally visited that people don't want to take chances. They don't want to make mistakes in business. And you have to know those people, because when you are talking to them, negotiating with them, something that would have otherwise taken you 3 minutes or 5 minutes, 10 minutes can take you 3 hours, because they want to be sure that any decision they are taking is right. They want to be sure that any decision they are taking is not going to lead them to a loss. Such people are very, very careful. In fact, there are some of the countries where we conducted businesses where I know 1 or 2 people have failed in business. And then with the question they asked the individual was, why are you still living? And the person said, what do you mean? He said, you lost so much money and you're still living amongst people. And the fellow said, what do you mean? They said, if you want to be buried with dignity, take off your life. That means such people, such cultures, they don't accept business failure at all. When somebody fails in business, he's better respected when he kills himself. We're talking about uncertainty avoidance index. Such countries that avoidance index or the risk taking is so, it's so much, they don't take risks at all. I'm talking of life experiences, countries and people I know that have failed in business. So when you're dealing with such people, you know the negotiation. In fact, when I started negotiating with them, I was lucky I had somebody there. And the person told me that, look, you will not be offended because you are going to be frustrated in the negotiation process. Well, something that in our country here we will have done within 2-3 hours took us close to 3 days. The person will talk and then go out and then take some cigarettes and come back. And then he thinks over it and then he concludes. When you feel that, okay, we have now reached the final, he goes out and thinks over it and comes back again. I'm talking about things that define, the attitude of people, the culture of people, the behavior of people. And so because I was informed before time, I had to persevere and move on with these people for about 3 days for a discussion that in my country would have taken me maximum 1 hour. And so such people, when you're getting to you get your mind settled that, well, where I'm going now, whatever I'm negotiating with this person or these people, it's going to be frustrating because they have the uncertainty avoidance index in that country is very high. So these are, the parameters where hostess used in defining cultural differences in people's societies. So as you look at these differences, like I said, I'm going to drop it. We study them, and then you can go in online and look at them more because we have just a few minutes. But these are things that define people's behavioral attitudes, and you have to know them, and you have to know the country you are going into, so that when you get there, and before you get there, you prepare your mind. And then we have another fellow, Trumpitness. He had a cultural dimensions theory, that culture is defined by 7 principles, 7 items that define the culture of a society. He mentioned that, again, they are here. He mentioned universalism. That is a society where the rule of law takes preeminence over personal or relationship. There are cultures where they don't care. All they know is this is the rule. This is what you must do. And when you are going to those countries for business, you know that this is what defines the culture. Like somebody came to our country here in Nigeria, and then he was driving on the highway, and somebody hit him. And the person started begging, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The person this man was, why are you sorry? Because from where he came from, when you hit somebody's car, you call your insurance to come and pay. It pays for the damage you've done. They work by rules, not by anything called relationship, not by anything called religion. The culture is defined by certain sets of rules. I'm talking of countries like the US, countries like Canada, countries like the UK. They are defined by rules. It's not something that has to do with, I know him, he's my paddy, he's this and that. Those countries are defined by rules. So that is the principle of universalism versus particularism. Those particularism that people where relationship plays like in most countries in Africa, relationship plays. So when you are even doing businesses, sometimes you take those, factors into consideration. But in countries that are unilateral, universal, they practice universalism. There's nothing like relationship. There's nothing like I know him, he knows me. No, you did strictly on the principle and the rule of business. So these are the things that define the behavioral patterns of people in different cultures. And you don't get into a business or into a nation, into a country, into a society. You must know the set of rules, the set of guiding theories that, define their behavior. Now, we're looking at cultural differences in business. We're talking about communication styles. Communication styles differ from culture to culture. Sometimes you get to a culture and then you think this is what I should tell the people. And sometimes to them, that is offensive. So you have to study, you have to know how do these people communicate, both their verbal and non-verbal communications. And then you did about time and punctuality. Here in Africa in particular, we talk about African time. You have to know that it's culture that is acceptable, maybe to some clients or to some places only here. There are cultures that kind of thing is never tolerated. When I attended a school in the US, in the class, both the lecturer and the student has 5 minutes latitude. If you are 5 minutes late, the student has the right to get out of the class. If the student is 5 minutes late, the lecturer has the latitude to disallow such person from coming in. So you have to know the culture. It's the same thing in business. You have, the timing, and then you ignore the time, and then you think you will come and give excuses. Such things do not. So you have to know the culture of the people. Are they the people that also work on so-called in quote African time, or do they observe time as business people? The work ethics and values. What are the individual values? What are the values of the society? And then the negotiation styles. You have to know the negotiation. Even in Nigeria here, there are different negotiation styles from community to community. In fact, there are communities in Nigeria. When you negotiate, for instance, and you get to a price, you accept the price, and you say, this is the price. They look back and think, they say, Kai, for this fellow to have accepted this price, it's like I am cheated. They reverse back. And that's the way of negotiation. If you're not used to it or heard about it, you will feel pissed off and you might be tempted to abandon the business. You have to know that this is the culture of the people. This is how they negotiate. And then religion. You study the religious, the beliefs of the people, the attitude of the people, the posture of the people. What is their behavior and attitude towards the opposite sex? There are religions that you don't, shake the opposite sex. You have to know those things when you are trying to get into those places. And as you do that, you observe, then you discover that you will practice and you know what you are going to face. When you go there, you will have no much issues. But without knowing those basic things, when you jump into those places, you might have problems, and that may be very catastrophic sometimes. Then we're looking at McDonald's as a case study. I believe many of us should be familiar with McDonald's. McDonald's, for instance, for you to have a global expansion, they have to adapt to local tastes. They have to adapt to local preferences of different countries. They have to study the needs of the youth in the communities, in the societies, in the countries. And so you will discover that most of the things they serve here in Africa, they are not the same with what they serve in maybe the US, in the UK. So you know those differences, and you know the cultural, the needs of the people in that culture. Then you're talking of cultural, intelligence, understanding of local norms, the cultural norms, the do's and the don'ts, the values, of the people. you know whether the people, for instance, are they vegetarian? Do they need options? You go to India, for instance, you just believe that, okay, this preparation, I did this meal in my country and it was good. And then you jump into that and maybe you are preparing your own meal and then it has maybe beef inside. And then you present, you will not, it won't work because those people, many of them do not value that. Or maybe you are going to a country that is predominantly Muslim. You have to know what they value. You have to know the kind of processes they follow to make sure that their meat or their food is halal. You have to know what is expected of that country so that you don't just, okay, this is good here, and then you pick it up and then you try, you say, okay, I want to export. It gets to some countries, they will not even allow it. Then the branding. There are countries that, branding is, unique in their own way. I was trying to move with some brands of our products from here to the UAE. And then I contacted a friend of mine, and then I shared with him he started laughing. He said, Mr. Daniel, this will not work in the UAE. I said, why? He said, number one, the combination of those colors, there are things we do not appreciate here. And then he had to, okay, these are the colors we need. These are the colors that are attractive here. There are countries that the colors are, so bright and brilliant. They love it that way. You go to China, for instance, most of the branding there, you see very shiny colors. So you need to know even for branding, you must know don't assume I did it in my area, I did it in my locality, it worked very well. If you carry it from other places, it may not work. And then the dressing pattern. You want to visit countries, you have to know the codes. There are places that, you are dressing here and you get it to another place. The first appearance is will put off your customer and he may not want to do any businesses with you. So you have to know all of these if you want to succeed in your business. Now, we're talking about challenges in cultural intelligence. A lot of challenges. As we've been speaking, it is difficult. Easy to, say it, but then as you begin to move from country to country, you discover that there are things that, you may not even have perceived them. And you just work upon them. But then there are basic things you should observe. And number one, that you should avoid, stereotype and biases. There are people that, when they are coming to a certain country, they have already a bias against that country. They say, well, in this country, this is what I need. This is what the people, you must be able to avoid that. You don't say, because I've studied the intelligence, I've gone through cultural intelligence, I know this country, and then you put everybody in the same basket. You might be surprised. You get there and you meet some people who are not in that basket. You so studied in your cultural intelligence class, and then you will discover that the person you approach, because he's not completely the same with the society in general that you have studied, you may not succeed. I had the opportunity with dealing with somebody in one country, and something happened between us. The people around him told him that this is what you should expect from Mr. Daniel because he comes from so and so place. Actually, it took him time to digest. Eventually, he had come to accept that this is what was going to happen. And to his surprise, it did not happen the way he was told. It did not happen the way he perceived. What I'm just saying is that, yes, studying of cultural intelligence is very key, very important, and very necessary for business success. But you must also be able to watch and know the kind of customer you are dealing with so that we don't apply it anyhow. And then you get your business hard or you get what out of the way. Then the language barriers. There are a lot of communication differences as we move from country to country. And so even when you know so much about this cultural intelligence. Sometimes when you get to those places, implementation becomes an issue because of the cultural, the language barriers. And so I always encourage young people, for instance, that you want to do business, try as much as possible to understand languages, diverse languages, especially the basic ones. Many years ago, a few years ago, I was in a country, and I was in a hotel. I was thinking I was too old at that time to learn more languages. I met this man. He could speak 6 languages fluently, and he was on the 7th one. He could speak English well, French well, Spanish well, he was on the 7th one, and he was 65. And when I told him that I was thinking I'm too old, he started laughing. He said, "You are not ready for business." So let's try to come out of our shells, understand languages, study culture, the cultural nuances, understanding subtle cultural differences that can impact business relationship. You try some of those small things. When you take time to study them, you'll discover that they can have a very significant impact on your business. So as young people, business people that are trying to move from country to country, try to be, to study languages and try to be adaptable. Now, strategies for developing cultural intelligence, cultural training and education. You need training. You need to invest on education. If you have employees, for instance, that are handling customers from diverse countries and diverse cultures, you have to give them the basic knowledge, and that might cost some little money. You have to train them on cultural intelligence, and then you have to get them understand the different cultures so that they don't treat everybody the same. And so not only that, cross-cultural team, if you want to in the presence, and then you make sure that they are built from different cultural backgrounds. You even start, if it's possible, before the business commences and gets to those countries. Then global networking. You have to build relationship with international partners. You have social media platforms that you can build partnership like LinkedIn and many other. So you have to start doing that so that you have people and you are communicating with them in different countries. Through the communication, sometimes you have an idea of what the culture of those people are. And then adaptability and flexibility. I told us already, be open to new cultural experiences and adapting to different cultural contexts. There are people that they want to do business. They want to be businessmen, but this is the food I eat. Outside this food, I don't accept any food. You are not ready to do international, go international. You must be able to adapt. You must be. Many years ago, I traveled to a country, and when I was going there, when I got there, I told my friend there that I was going to eat everything that he can eat. He said, "Are you sure?" I said, "Yes." And then confidently, we were going from city to city, and we were eating everything until I got to a point. They brought raw fish that was not cooked. How they treated it, I wouldn't know, but the fact was that I couldn't see any blood on it, but I could also see that this fish has not been cooked, and you had to eat it with some spices. It was a tough one, but I told myself, if you want to adapt to this society, you have to. After all, they were eating and nobody was vomiting, and nobody was having stomach problems. So I ate the meat, the fish. The man looked at me and said, "Daniel, you are ready for international business. I believe you are ready for international business. Are you ready?" I'm not hearing my audience. Well, to conclude, cultural intelligence is essential for global business success. You have no choice. You have to learn it. You have to study it. You have to live it. I was in certain places in East Africa, for instance. We were used to what we call tuwo here. When I got their own, the thing was so tough. It was so strong. And I said, well, if you want to operate here, you have to be part of these people. And I went in and I ate the food. Surprisingly, it was within 2-3 days, I became an expert in that. Cultural difference, intelligence is essential for global business success. Understanding and navigating cultural differences can lead to increased collaboration, improved communication, and stronger relationship with international partners and clients. As you move from country to country, you need to open up your mind. You need to adapt. You need to study. And you need to be able to give up some, beliefs and take in new things. You need to unlearn and learn. Developing cultural intelligence, you have to invest in cultural training and education. And you have to build diverse teams. And you start today if you've not started. And then you'll be adaptable to flexible, different cultural contexts. Be adaptable. You don't just look at people and, this one is, that's their culture. There are people, the dressing and other things might look, funny. But you want to be, I've been to cultures and places where when I get there, for the first 1 or 2 days, I go to the supermarket with the people there. I buy their own kind of dress and I dress like them. You want to be, take your business to the next level, you have to adapt to different cultures. You have to learn cultures, and then you have to practice cultures. You have to be multicultural, and you have to have open mind. Thank you very much. I'm sure there are a lot of questions. We want to stop here and listen if there are questions from anybody.
Thank you so much, sir. I believe that they have learned a lot from you today. And so if we have questions, do drop it in the chat box or use the raise hand emoji feature to ask your question. I can see clap emoji, thank you. And Jane is saying thank you, great, thank you so much. Okay, so let's have people ask questions. If you have questions, more people saying thank you, great presentation, thank you, sir. So let's have questions. Okay, Fakule is asking if the presentation would be available. So I think the SCP team will have to liaise with the facilitator to be sure, so he can get it across. But I think we have a question from Emmanuel. He said, what about conflict affected areas punctuated with tribalism? I don't know if that's a question or a comment. And
again? What
about conflict affected areas punctuated with tribalism?
Well, conflict areas are areas that you are doing business, but you want to leave. And you are not a military man, you're a business person. And so areas that are in conflict, for instance, there are fightings going there. Business people should try to avoid that place as much as possible because you don't want to endanger your life. Talking about tribalism, businesses should not be restricted because of tribalism. I think it depends on the place you are talking about, but businesses, if you have something to offer, I can't imagine how people will reject it because you are not from this tribe. And so tribalism should not be a major player when you're talking about international business. People will need your product and forget the differences if the product is something that is presentable.
Thank you, sir. So we have Fakunle Aremo. He's asking, are there tools, platforms for learning cultural intelligence?
Yes, like I said, I am going to drop this note. If you go online, you see the two theories that I've spoken about, and you will discover the details are there. And maybe you can check for other theories online that will tell you about what you expect as you move from country to country. And when you read these theories, the implication is when you get to the field, it is easier for you to navigate because you have an idea of what you are expecting. And so they give you an idea on what to do when you get to that place. For instance, when I started as a marketer, there are books, a particular book that I took and I digested that book. You know, I think there's no harm mentioning it. Be a sales superstar by Brian Tracy. I had never been in marketing. I was on the other side. I was into procurement. But I now found myself in marketing. What I did was to spend some months indoors, digested that book, underlined the book. And when I got to the field, and I would say, when I met a problem, I would say, what would Brian Tracy do if he had this challenge? And I applied the same principle and it worked. So when you study these theories, they are meant to help you when you face challenges in the field.
Okay, thank you, sir. I think another question before we take you, Rukayat. Let me read this one. If you want any guide to establish business in another country and you need advice, they're asking if you actually provide free consultation, and if yes, how did they reach you?
Well, for young entrepreneurs, since we're on this platform, I think the essence and the reason why I'm brought here is to see where I can share some experience. You can contact the management team of AFC, and I think I'll be able to help.
Okay, so let's have Rukayat kindly unmute and ask your question.
Okay, good afternoon, Mr. Daniel. Good afternoon, everyone on this call. I'm super excited. Finally, I found someone that is speaking my language. Yes, I'm Rukayat Yusuf. I am the CEO and founder of Jonty Natural Organics. So I'm already exporting. I have over, I think, 40 products selling in US and Canada. We operate from 2 warehouses in US, one in Canada soon. So I understand the importance of cultural intelligence when it comes to exports. And I'm going to cite an example, and I'm going to use maybe one of my products as an example. One of my top sellers in the US is the tiger nut powder. Now, around here, people use it for kunu aya, and then that is it, nothing else. But my tiger nut powder is packaged as a gluten-free white powder alternative for baking. So that is how I sell it. And knowing that everybody these days is looking for healthy alternative to life. So everyone that wants to eat, whether it's a baking, you want to bake, you want to do pancakes, you want to do muffin. So that is the market. That is how I'm able to sell that market. So I'm not holding myself by saying I'm selling kunu aya, because people out there don't even know what that is. So I had to find something I know is very relatable to the market I'm targeting. And then another very very common one is crayfish. Our crayfish around here is used for egusi soup and the likes, right? But I package mine and then I'm selling as a pet food. And yes.
And those people, they don't joke with their pets.
Yes, they don't go with their pets and they will pay anything for it. So I'm selling it as a protein alternative, natural protein alternative. So basically, cultural intelligence is key to success in exports. Every MSME that wants to go into export must invest in it. Even branding, for instance, you're selling in Canada, you should have bilingual labeling. You should have both Nigerian and French at the back. If you're doing Europe, so it's very important. You can't just be saying the way you brand product at home. You can't brand the same way and still expect to sell or succeed internationally. So thank you very much, Sam.
Thank you,
I'm
Rukaya.
already connected to you on LinkedIn. So this is
Yes.
my invitation to you. I'm looking for a mentor.
Thank you very much,
So
Rukaya.
definitely reach out. So thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that ideas.
Thank you very much. I think that we don't have any more questions. The rest are just asking, I think how they can connect with you online, and I can see my colleague has dropped that. And basically, thank you, thank you, thank you. And if your slide would be shared, which we hope to get from you, and would share with every attendee of today's session.
So we're going to share our slides right away, and you can see
Okay.
to the people.
Thank you, sir. But before we let you go, we like to take pictures. Like I call it the family picture of every session. So if let's have everybody on the call turn on their camera and give their best smile actually. So let's have more persons. Ensure you're screenshotting from your end so that when you're reaching out to Mr. Daniel on LinkedIn or every other platform you'll be reaching out to him to, you would have that as your evidence. So let's have more persons turn on their cameras and say cheese for a picture screenshot. Okay, let's have more persons. I can see Helda, I can see Bushra. So let's have more persons turn on their cameras, and before we go ahead, you should turn on your camera to actually be on this. Thank you so much, Ako. I can see you. Great. So we'll be taking the picture in like 1, 2. So everybody say cheese. Bushra and other team members, kindly help me in taking the screenshots from your end. So your best smile, everybody. I think your smile should be better than my own. Okay, I want to confirm we have taken the screenshot from our end, and also team I hope Ako, I can see your big smile. I think you're the only person that has beat me to this. So thank you so much, everybody. Thank you so much, Mr. Daniel, for your time. Really appreciate you, and we actually look forward to bringing you on board another time so we will go in depth into this conversation. So we're going to be moving on to the next aspect of today's session, and that will be our membership drive. Earlier, Gloria Praise told you a lot about what we do here at AFC, and for you to be able to plug into it by joining our membership community. So I'd have my colleague from the membership team come up to take us on the membership drive. So Sylvester Barrow, over to you.
That's not cool.
Hello, Sylvester. You can go ahead. I've asked you to unmute.
Good morning, good afternoon. Please confirm you can hear me, Anna.
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, all right. Okay, so a very warm welcome to us once again for those who are on the call. And very quickly, I will be taking you on the membership drive. But before I do that, if you are part of the community and you are a community member, I would like you to signify by typing "I am a change maker" in the chat box. And if you are also not part of the community, you could also indicate that so that my colleague would follow up and put you through on how to join the community while I do this as well. So very quickly, at our Food Change Makers, we provide opportunities. We have a hub where we provide opportunities for African agri-SMEs to scale their businesses. And we give access and we strengthen and scale your agribusiness. We prepare your agribusiness to enter new African and global market. Give rise to funding, speaking, and exhibition opportunities. We also we give you access to a vibrant community members from across the world. We have a community where we have different people and members from across the world, be it Africa, Uganda, Kenya, Cameroon, your country, whatever country you have, there are a variety of vibrant community members that are in our community. You get access to these people and you get to interact with them and network with them and explore different opportunities with them. And we also provide global market linkages. We enhance the visibility and promote media engagement of selected agribusinesses. So this is done by picking any of our member and spotlighting them via our social media platforms, be it Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, even WhatsApp and our newsletter. So once you become part of our community member, you stand a chance to get on any of our social media platforms, and also give access to exclusive networking events. So whenever there's an event that we feel would help you or would scale you, we send this to you and you get an opportunity to attend this event. And we also give you access to our resource hub. Our resource hub is a place where we upload resources ranging from funding to events to data to capacity, open to you as soon as you join the community and you are verified. When you have your dashboard, you can have access to all these that have been mentioned. So these are just a few of the opportunities that you get to enjoy once you become a part of a community. Lest I forget, we have a marketplace also. And as the name implies, a marketplace. A market is where we come buy and sell goods and services. So we have a marketplace where you go with your products and your services, and you have people from different part of the world patronize or request for your services. So very quickly, I will take community. So first, you have to have a smartphone or a laptop that is connected to the internet. And once you have that, you go to your browser and type in www.afchub.org. You click on the join the community icon on the home page. It is there boldly. So once you just open the website, you see the join the community. And once you click on it, it takes you down to another page where you have a few questions take much of the time. And these questions have to be answered correctly. And once you're done answering the questions, ensure that you click the submit button at the right hand bottom right side of the page. So once that is done, you get a confirmation email that you have successfully registered, but your verification will take 24 to 48 hours. And once you're verified, you would also get a notification that, yes, you have been verified. And then you can now go back to www.afchub.org and click on the login that is on the top right corner of the web page, and you log in with your details that you registered with. So once that is done, you have full access to your dashboard. Now, before joining our community, you have to have these 3 criteria before you can be able to join our community. First is you have to own or work as a top management for an agribusiness. And secondly, the agribusiness must be in existence for at least 6 months. And that is, the agribusiness you work for or you own must be in existence for at least 6 months. We all know what social media does these days. So social media is a platform that elevates you, that puts you out there to different people around the world. So you must have a social media presence before you can be able to join the community. So these 3 criteria are very important for you to have. And please note that the registration is absolutely free. You don't have to pay any amount of money before you can join the community. It is totally free. And you can also refer as many. The link will be dropped in the chat box by my colleague. You can click on it and begin your registration. And we look forward to welcoming you on board the community. So thank you very much and enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you, Anna. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Sylvester. So if you are not part of the AFC community, I have no idea what you're doing. And if you have an agribusiness, because I understand that not everybody here has an agribusiness. So to do well, I know that the link will be dropped in the chat box. Join our community, run to it if you can. Click on it, get to know more about us, and join our community. It takes less than 2 minutes to actually sign in to become a member of the AFC community. So for our next step is we have this Open Export series every month. So it's always an opportunity, particularly for those who are interested in the export markets, to learn, because they say knowledge is key. You need to get knowledge to actually know how to excel or thrive in your agribusinesses. So do well to always stay tuned. Follow us on all social media platforms. They're literally everywhere: Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. Just think of any social media handle you can think of. We're there. So just type African Food Change Makers and you will see us. So just like Sylvester said, don't forget to join our community of entrepreneurs at 49 African countries now and counting. And do well to share your feedback with us. We are always excited when we get feedbacks. It's always an opportunity for us to relearn, unlearn, and learn and get better with what we do. Also, you can go ahead to subscribe to our newsletter. One thing, the membership community, you can benefit from the membership community, the fact that you get weekly newsletters about opportunities. So you don't need to go around everywhere looking for it. It's just in one click and you get it in your mailbox. So do well to subscribe. And till we see you again next time on another edition of the Open Export series, stay tuned with us, follow us. We have other initiatives that you can always join. We have the First Thursdays, we have the Agri-Funding series that would be happening next week for those who are looking to understand the funding landscape better and also get funding for their business. Do not forget to join the Agri-Funding series. So till we see you again next time, enjoy the rest of your week and thank you for staying to the end. If you stay to the end, you're an MVP. So thank you so much and see you another time. Bye, everybody. And before we completely go, apologies, we have the survey link here. Would love to get responses from you. Want to know how the session has been like for you. Was it satisfactory? Did you learn from it? How would you rate your understanding of the speaker? How would you rate the whole session, the platforms and the accessibility? Was it easy to use? And how would you rate the effectiveness, our time management of today's session? So we would love to get responses from as many people as we can. Great. I can see about 9 persons has filled it already. Thank you so much. So let's get more responses before we call it a day. Thank you so much. I can see 18 persons have responded. Let's take it to at least 30. Thank you so much. I can see it increasing. Thank you so much for your response. 20 persons now. So let's have 10 more persons. Thank you. 24 persons now. So let's have 6 more persons. Thank you to everybody who has filled the form, by the way. We just have four amazing persons to fill this, and we will call it a day officially. So thank you so much, everybody. Would be ending the poll in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So thank you so much to everybody who has filled the poll. We thank you for your responses, your feedback. We sincerely appreciate it. So till we see again next time, enjoy the rest of your week again. Bye, everybody.